Let's dunk on Bill Maher quick, shall we? Apparently last night on his wildly popular television show, he made the very startling realization that, hey, you guys, the left, they become the party of moral panics, and I think there's something going on here, because I'm a liberal. Oh my God, how fucking late to the party is this guy? That's why, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Anybody who invokes the name Bill Maher is just one of those out of talking points right-wing pundits. It's like, hey, look it, he's on the left, and even he sees that there's something going on. Nobody on the left takes Bill Maher seriously, okay? They're still mad that he said the N-word. Ooh, let's roast this fucking corpse. On Friday's broadcast of HBO's Real Time, host Bill Maher lamented that woke kids on campus decided to be all the worst parts of the Southern Baptists. Again, he was around for the history, but whatever. And the left has become the party of speech codes and blacklists and moral panics and demanding some TV shows had to go. Okay. Who ran the PMRC? Who ran that? That was Tipper Gore, right? Yeah. She was married to George W. Bush, right? Oh no. But Don, what about the Catholic League? They wanted to cancel South Park. Yeah, I remember that. But I also remember the actual history of that. They didn't want to cancel South Park. They didn't want to cancel The Simpsons. They didn't want to cancel any of those old things. They just wanted to push them back to 9 p.m. Eastern. They just wanted to push them back to a respectable hour. Something my UK compatriots, that's why we're going to be leading into the next story with this story right here, know all too well. There's a certain time at night where fucking TV companies used to just go ham, okay? You could have casual sex, you could have swearing on television. I believe I'm getting this right, after a certain hour. That's what the Catholic League was calling for when they said, hey, we don't want to get rid of this stuff, that's fine. We just don't want it accessible to children. To push it off to a farther hour. That's one of those things that Bill Maher, in his infinite wisdom, because I'm smarter than everybody on this panel, and if you guys don't agree with me, well, you're just being stupid. How to touch old fuck. Maher said Republicans can't spend decades chastising liberals for being too permissive about sex and drugs. Yeah, we can. And then be completely silent about Matt Gaetz. You cocksucking asshole. What's the evidence out about Matt Gaetz? Huh? Oh, there's some Venmo payments. Oh, there's some PayPal receipts. What did they show? That there's money that was sent? That could be for literally anything. Okay? Oh, we have a story from his wingman. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's just somebody who's currently under investigation for several other charges, trying to implicate himself for something lesser, and implicate Matt Gaetz at the same time in order to distract from his personal issues. But you know what? This is why I don't take anything that Bill Maher has to say seriously. I don't invoke him for anything other than just a whipping, because I don't consider him to be on the left. I consider him to be an old boomer who is just as irrelevant as the format in which he presents his show on. Anyways, good things have been happening over in Britain. There was just an election that happened earlier last week, okay? And the Conservatives, if everybody thought that the election in 2019 was over Brexit and that it was a one-issue thing, and that the Conservatives, and there would be a return to balance going forward, well, you take UKIP off the ballot, and guess where all of those votes go? They go to the Conservatives. And Labour, the Labour Party is just a corpse right now. If I had a stick to poke its dead, decaying corpse at this point, I would, just for the fun of it. And in my mind, the UK has just gone up another rung. Like, okay, you guys have had some of the worst lockdowns on the planet, okay? No debating that. But that's why whenever I cover issues dealing with Britain and the UK, I have a certain amount of hope, because there's a rejection of these socialist, woke policies that are out there at such a high level that even counties that have gone for Labour for 80, 90 years are flipping Conservatives because they've had enough of their old party. They could give a fuck what they're about anymore. They're looking at the policies, and they're voting for the people who actually like and appreciate them. The people who want to have the opportunity to do something great, instead of having the government step on them and tell them what they have to do and when they have to do it and how happy they have to be about doing it. It's fucking wild. And like this article, that is a pretty beefy boy. We're just going to slightly go over it. But it's something that the Republican Party can learn from over the huge victory of the British Conservative Party. And there's no way to understate this. Like, I've been looking at results that have been trickling in. Not everything has been accounted for yet, but it looks like victories in different ridings and different positions are coming in at like a 2 or 3 to 1 clip for Conservatives and then everybody else. Very few losses. And when they happen, they're followed up by several more gains in different ridings and different positions. So let's take a look here. Here's why the American Conservatives should pay attention to the recent special election in Hartlepool, United Kingdom. The British Conservative Party has modernized and mobilized itself to win a parliamentary constituency that the Labour Party has held for nearly 60 years. Yes, buddy, this is the one that I was mentioning. Indeed, the Conservative candidate won the seat on May 7th by more than 23 points. Yeah. The parallels between the American Conservatives and British Conservatives are strong. Yes, they're both the parties that campaign like George S. Patton and then govern like John McCain. It's a fucking weird. And even more recently, stronger, as the two parties have taken populist, pro-worker, and anti-globalist turn. A little limp-wristed, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they are much better than the alternative. Not a parallel I can unfortunately draw to Canada, but we'll take victories when we can see them, of course. As we all remember, in June 2016, British voters voted to endorse Brexit referendum. Then, of course, in November 2016, literally the worst thing like forever happened because literally Hitler ascended to his throne until he was voted out. I don't know how that works. In 2020, huge asterisk, was elected president of the United States, and in July of 2019, after weak Conservatives had dithered on Brexit, Boris Johnson took the reins of the Conservative Party from stupid Nosferatu-looking ass Theresa May, kicked that bitch to the fucking curb, crying the entire way, and led to a massive landslide victory. A little bit more colorful than what's written here, but I like my version better. So again, how did they do it? Well, Boris Johnson's prudential right-of-center approach has a deep lineage in British politics. You know, that Anglo-Saxon tradition that was lamented not that long ago by George W. Bush that if the Conservative Party doesn't want to stand for, or ends up standing for, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant traditions, we aren't going to have a party. Yeah, go back into retirement and paint your shitty fucking landscapes, you gremlin-looking dud. It's often called one nation conservatism, a concept originating with the 19th century Tory Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, man who does not nearly get enough international credit. Having served for 7 years at number 10 Downing Street, Disraeli died in 1881. The Times of London eulogized him, recalling that the Conservative Prime Minister had made a decisive break with aristocratic predecessors who had feared the masses holding them at arm's length. By contrast, the Times continued, Disraeli discerned the conservative working man as a sculptor perceives the angel prisoned in a block of marble. Yeah, and that's where Republicans find themselves at a current crossroads right now. Either continuing to go down the path that's not going to lead to anywhere except for constant defeat and capitulation. See Mitt Romney's strategy of everything. And then you have Disraeli's approach. That phrase, angel and marble, has ever since defined enlightened conservative attitudes toward the working class. That is, realization that most folks are happy playing by the rules and settling for a modest piece of the pie so long as they are treated fairly and with respect. That's what most people just want. They just want to be left alone. They want to be allowed to prosper at a rate that is proportional to how hard they work and how hard they try, and not to be held down by the government. You know, the government that creates all the problems, and they're never the solution to any of those problems, because why would they want to work themselves out of a job? One nation conservatism was Disraeli's legacy to the right, and today Johnson is a studious inheritor. A recent poll showed Conservatives' lead of Labour by a whopping 14 points. Yeah, and as the results continue to roll in, the 14 is going to look like a bastion for hope for Labour in the coming years. And now comes the Hartlepool result. As the left-wing Guardian mournfully reported, with tears falling in their soy latte, it is only the second time in nearly 40 years that the governing party has taken a seat from the opposition. Yeah, it's almost like your beloved Labour Party is rotten from the inside out. Of course, the Conservative Party hasn't accomplished all of this by itself. It had help from the Labour Party. As the name suggests, the Labour Party was once the party of, well, Labour. you know, blue collars, union workers, of course. And then they accepted in the wonderful and awesome Jeremy Corbyn and all of his followers as well. John McDonnell, the guy who's, didn't he say he was a his job as shadow finance minister was to overthrow capitalism in fucking Britain. What's wrong with you, buddy? Get the boat. Not surprisingly, as Labour's geography has shifted, so too has the ideology away from workers and classes, and towards the trendier lefty midwit talking points of race and gender. The Labour Party has, in a word, become woke. Yeah, and if the ass-kicking wasn't enough in 2019, this one right here definitely made it bite the curb American History X style. So now let's reverse this and take a look at what the Americans can learn from this, okay? As your opposition continues to spiral down the social justice, critical race theory, illegal immigration, bigger government wormhole into absolute oblivion, instead of joining them a couple cars later down that slow motion derailment, you can just hop off and get on the other set of tracks and continue forward into the future. That's a possibility. You see, Democrats too have forsaken their origins of the party of laborers, farmers, artisans, and mechanics, and so the old Democratic coalition of our 7th president, Andrew Jackson, the combination of the Southern Protestants and Northern Catholics that boosted Democrats for the better part of 2 centuries. Yes, after that very funny election in 1876, better left unsaid or untouched, because every election in United States history has been 100% legal and lawful, and this most recent one was the most transparent and safe and secure in history. In the meantime, as happened to the Labour in the UK, the United States Democrats have become the party of cities, blue dots, but yeah, coastal elites, and much more. It rolls off the tongue a lot easier. These new Democrats are on the left, and yet, as we know, it's a wokey kind of leftism. Yes, just leftism in general. You can leave off the descriptor. Yet Republicans will only start to win bigly, huge, when they can discern the angel in marble. That is, they can see the inner conservatism in working people of all races and genders and shape it into electoral success. Exactly. That's why I bitch and moan about Republicans whenever they want to start to do identity politics, because that was all of the stuff that Democrats were running on in 2007, 2006, all of those old elections there. Those were all of the old talking points, right? And now what has it flourished into? Some kind of inbred disaster that you just want to mercy kill over there in the corner. Today, plenty of top Republicans, including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and Senators Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and Marco Rubio, not the last one, 2 out of those 4 are alright, have spoken fondly of the GOP becoming the natural home for workers, and yet it's fair to say the process is still ongoing. For instance, another pro-worker GOPer, Representative Jim Banks of Indiana, the new chairman of the House Republican Study Committee, put forth a detailed policy agenda. He was criticized by third-ranking Republican, right now she's the third-ranking Republican, Liz Cheney of Wyoming, who reportedly described Banks' document as neo-Marxist and wrong. That's what a neocon would say. One can quickly say that Cheney is wrong on the policy. No, you don't say. But don't criticize her to her face, because I'm sure her old man probably still has that musket that he likes to go out quail hunting with. Oh no, he's a forward-thinking conservative. I don't like that descriptor. It says that she's wrong on the politics. The last thing the GOP needs is a millstone of Cheney-ish endless wars. Yeah, exactly. Neoconservatism is dead and gone, and it will never, ever, ever come back unless it's rigged in there. That is, if Democrats control the post-industrial cities, high tech, high finance, and high culture, then for the sake of the survival, Republicans need to reach out to every last worker, including, of course, in the cities. And if the GOP goes out of its way to tip its cap to the workers, that's the smartest politics, not communism. Yeah, obviously. Just do what the conservatives in the UK did, okay? Look at the base. See what people are talking about. See what people are doing. Go out there and make actual connections, okay? We're putting the lockdown shit aside for the moment because that's fucking horrific in and of itself, but it's not exclusively something that the UK did. It's something that pretty much everybody did. But it's things that people are rebelling against, not wanting to go back to. Is Boris Johnson being held captive? Maybe a little bit, but now he has an even larger support base. And this is something that Republicans, once they figure out their fucking power structure, okay, I think something that they can look forward to in 2022 after the midterms are all said and done, galvanize around one candidate, okay? Fucking let's just pick one at this point. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be DeSantis? Let's fucking figure it out. Fire a concerted effort against old skeleton Joe because he thinks he's going to be running in 2024. Get everything all together and then just fucking steamroll everybody like Andrew Jackson did in 1880, which led to the nearly 200 years of uninterrupted success of the Democratic Party. And with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.